Welcome back, and in this test drive, we're going to take you through LMN's item catalog, which is the key to pricing work consistently and profitably. Let's just dive right in. If you've logged into your LMN trial, you want to go to the left-hand side and click the Item Catalog menu. Here's where we're going to have lists of your labor, your equipment, your materials, your subs, and other things. And when you build estimates, you're going to pull items from these lists and drop them right in estimates so that you don't have to calculate the cost and price of everything every single time. Let's start with your labor. Labor is going to be a list of your crews. And if you open one of our samples, like maintenance labor, you'll see what it's built of. There's a name, there's also a wage, an overtime factor, an unbillable factor, labor burden, an overhead markup, which is coming from your budget, and then ultimately a profit margin. And that's going to tell you exactly the rate per hour you need to charge for that type of crew to A, cover its costs, B, recover its fair share of your company overhead. And remember, that's pulling from your overhead numbers in your budget. And C, it adds a profit margin. Now, you can do whatever you want to LMN's price. You can create your own profit margin. For instance, if you want to charge 20%, you can just override it to 20. Or you could set a custom price and say, hey, we charge $42 an hour, and it'll work out what your profit margin is at your price. So LMN won't hold you to a price, but it's going to tell you exactly where you need to be to make your forecast come true. To create your own crew, simply go up here to the New button, enter your crew name, and then work your way through the fields here. There's lots of help here down in the Help button to explain what each field means and how to set up your first crew. Same thing with equipment. On the equipment list is where we're going to build the equipment that you pull in when you're estimating as well. All it is a list of equipment, and you can start from our sample, which are fairly realistic equipment costs, but tweak the numbers to be accurate for your company. Once again, every screen has a Help button that'll walk you through the specifics of that screen and how to calculate your specific costs when you get to that point. But this is a test drive, and right now, on a trial, we'd recommend you just use the equipment in there to build your first couple of estimates, just until you get the hang of things. Then you can go back and customize everything for your equipment. Material lists, same thing. Lots of stuff in the sample database, but ultimately what you're going to want to do is import lists from your vendors that'll allow you to take a spreadsheet and import it directly into here so that all your vendors' costs and prices and all their materials are in here and ready for you to add to your estimates. Now we'll get into a couple more advanced things, and the first one is production rates. Production rates are an awesome tool for making estimating faster and more consistent, and it's amazing for training new estimators. All a production rate really is a way of converting a count or a measurement into how many labor hours that's going to take. Let's take a look. If you're a maintenance contractor, try opening the mowing commercial equipment example. Here you'll see we've set up a production rate calculator for mowing commercial size properties. Now, if you're mowing with different sized decks, you're going to be able to mow different rates of acres per hour. So each deck has its own row. The units of measure is in acres, and the installation rate is how many acres per man hour that deck can mow. So once I've established my production rates, and even rates for things like line trimming or blowing and cleanup that kind of go along with mowing, I now have all the information I need for an estimator to calculate how long it's going to take to mow an area. Once they've got this, they'll simply type in the number of acres they have, and it'll automatically calculate, based on the size deck they choose, how long that's going to take. If you're an install contractor and you're looking to calculate something like, well, how long will it take to put all that mulch in? Try opening the mulching installation calculator. Here you can see we're only installing mulch, but I've got 4 different ways to install it. By hand or wheelbarrow, with a mulch mule, with a skid steer, and with a blower truck. And each one of those can install more and more mulch per hour. So depending on whatever equipment we have on that job, the estimator will simply type in how many square feet of mulch at 3 inches, and it'll calculate how many man hours it'll take to do that job. For you to start creating your own production rate calculators, one of the easiest things to do is copy ours. Let's say, for example, you wanted to create your own calculator for commercial jobs that were trickier than usual jobs. Maybe they had a lot of slopes or beds. So I'm going to start with this commercial calculator and I'll go copy. Now we're going to call this one mowing commercial equipment, and maybe you might call it difficult site. Now all I do is back off my installation rates. We can't do as much per hour, so these should be less. So maybe this is 2.7, and this is 2, and that's 1, and that's 350, and that's 4 acres per hour, and great. Now I've got another production rate calculator, and if my estimator's estimating a difficult site, they're going to use this one instead. It's that easy. Try a couple, and you'll be well on your way to creating your own production rate calculators that'll help really make your estimating consistent. The last and maybe the most powerful part of the ADAM catalog is your templates. Now, templates are excellent for installation contractors. We just looked at how to quickly calculate labor, but how about all the materials and everything that goes along with it? That's where templates really shine. Jump into your sample account and have a look at the paver driveway example. Click it to open it. Go to the items section once you're in it, and you'll see what's here is a list of all the labor, the equipment, and the materials required to estimate a driveway. Now, once you've added all your labor, equipment, and materials to do a task, you can take it another step further. Close that window down, and now hit the production rate calculator. Each row has its own production rate calculator, so that you can enter in how long, in the case of labor, or how many, in the case of materials, you're going to need to get something done. For instance, this tells me that every 11 square feet of paver patio, I need 1 man-hour of work. Or down here, I might get into gravel, and if I hit the production rate, you can see it says every 100 square feet of pavers, I'm going to need 3.7 tons of gravel. By setting this up, I'm making my estimating turnkey. The estimator is going to be able to add this driveway to an estimate, and all these items are going to come in automatically, as well as these conversion factors, so that once an estimator plugs in the size of the patio, the gravel, the labor, the sand, the amount of pavers, all that can be calculated quickly and accurately for the least possible chance of mistakes. And you can take it one step further by pre-configuring your customer and your crew notes. By going to the Notes tab, I can enter exactly what I want to show up on my customer proposals. Once I add this to the estimate, I'll be able to customize these, but I've set this up, and I've set up crew notes as well, which will also come into the estimate, so that if we win this job, we can print a job planner that includes things like small tool checklist and installation specs for the crews. Setting up your item catalog is one of the last steps you need before estimating. That'll make sure that instead of estimating each project one at a time, your estimators or you are simply pulling from lists of labor, equipment, and materials, and you'll be able to build estimates in minutes instead of hours. But if you have any questions on the stuff we just looked through, be sure to reach out to us. Our support is free, our one-on-one sessions are free, live chat is free, or you can attend one of our regional workshops or boot camps that we have all across North America. Don't be shy. Reach out to your consultant that sent you the email about this trial and book a one-on-one consultation to find out how you can get yourself set up with estimating an item catalog.